Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Win. I am your host, Carrie Richardson. I'm a partner at Fox and Crow, and with me is Allan Jocson, who is the CEO of Agilitec and a member of the PAX8 Partner Advisory Council. Thanks for joining us today, Allan. Tell us what we can expect at PAX8 Beyond this year.
Sure, Carrie. Thanks for the intro. PAX8 Beyond. So I believe we're on the third year now, right? From inaugural at Denver to the last time, I believe it's going to be the Gaylord, right? Every year it's gotten bigger and bigger. I think it's even double the attendance, hence why I think it's the last year here at this hotel. They've outgrown it. I'm hoping Vegas, but being a little selfish there. But let's just say I think they're looking for a bigger space because of the success of the event. It is one of those industry events that is a can't miss at this point. There's only a few of them, right? Anybody that's been in this industry long enough has been to some events, I would hope. But there's different ones that are very sales focused and very vendor sales focused and just seem like a commercial to some extent, very little educational value. I think this one really is trying to focus on raising the education level of the MSP industry, depending on owner level, sales, technical. They do have some tracks and sessions for what you're interested in, right? And so, yeah, I think it's a can't miss event at this point. Getting
So this
better.
is year three at the Rocky
The
Mountain.
Gaylord, you know.
It's a pretty big hotel, so that's
So
impressive.
year one was not huge. Year two got pretty big, and I heard year three is even huge. We got to watch some hockey games. It
Golden Knights.
was awesome.
What do you normally do to prepare for attending an event like this? You'll obviously have some different commitments than you might at an
Mhm,
event where you weren't
mhm,
participating in an advisory council.
mhm,
How do you decide what sessions you're going to go to? How do you plan your calendar? How far in advance do you start looking at the agenda?
mhm. We actually do quite a bit of pre-prep work. I bring as many team members as possible to these events. I think last year we had 4 people at the event. This year we'll bring 4 as well, key people in each area so that we can divide and conquer. If able to do that, I would highly suggest that to companies because you're not going to be able to see all of the sessions at once and you're not going to be able to talk to key people. And I think that's a key thing you need to do. Look at the agenda ahead of time, strategize on which sessions you're going to get value out of and you're interested in. And more importantly, map out who's attending the event as well, both from a vendor perspective, PAX8 perspective, and even other partners or peers. Anybody that's attended events in the past know that some of the value is in those sidebar conversations that you have, maybe at the bar after, maybe in between sessions, maybe at lunch. The learning doesn't necessarily stop. Get as much out of it as you can, but certainly I think the most value I get out of the connections I make, not just from my peers, but the vendors and PAX8 people as well. And you form those relationships and bonds. And that old adage of people do business with who they know, like, and trust is still
Mhm.
absolutely true. It's still a relationship business.
With 142 sponsors at last count, of which we are one, how do you decide who you're going to evaluate at an event like PAX 8?
It starts with a hit list, being as strategic as possible. This is not a vacation, it's time away from your business. Go into it with the intent of learning things, growing your business, you're forming relationships. And so I start out with that strategic look at who I need to talk to and either get advice from or collaborate with, but also leave time to meet new people. Events aren't the time to shell up and become an introvert necessarily, right? The more people you talk to and engage with, you'll get value back from that.
I've talked to some MSPs that were very uncomfortable with the idea that they would share their secrets with other MSPs.
Yeah.
And my advice there is you just can't steal execution.
No, it's true. I've been in peer groups for the last 8 years. I'm in the PAX8 peer group for the last 3. I'm actually going to be in Denver for the entire week because the first week is Beyond, the second week is the PAX8 peer group. So it's going to be a long week. But as you said, we all share similar battle scars and challenges and not reinventing the wheel and sharing what's working and what's not working. I'm not afraid of telling people how I do things or why I do things and how I've structured my business because like you said, imitations, flattery to some extent, but in the end, it's who you have in your company. Nobody's going to be able to steal your way of doing things necessarily.
Las Vegas
Yeah.
isn't that big of a city.
And I collaborate with the other MSP business owners, even locally. I don't have a problem sharing best practices with them and leveling each other up. It's not a bad thing to talk to other MSPs, 100%.
So you're going to be in Denver for an entire week. What were the highlights of last year's event for you? What are they going to have to top this year?
Well, maybe no more bouncing floor at the end of the event. While it was a fun, ludicrous concert, that was a little bit scary, but I heard it's on a ground floor this year, so we're pretty stable for the closing party. That was definitely a memorable
I
part. It
wasn't
was a
there
good,
last year.
the floor flexed quite a bit because everybody got very excited. It was a fun time
Ludicrous.
and nobody got hurt, so all good. It was definitely a thing to remember. You know, I'd say the keynotes at PAX8, I wouldn't miss the keynotes. I wouldn't miss the general sessions in the main room. They were very impressive, not just from a video and technology perspective, which is always nice. It's very modern. They definitely put a lot of work into that. But the things that the new CEO were saying and where they're going with their direction. PAX8's always been somewhat of a disruptive company and doing things a little differently. It's great to understand where they're going, and being in those sessions is a key piece.
I know they announced another keynote today. Was it Carl Lewis?
Yes,
Do we know
right.
who's the closing party artist this year? I don't
I
know.
think that's still a technical secret. So yeah,
Oh, do
this is
you already
a
know and you're not going to tell us?
oh, well, maybe not. You might have to come find me and ask. Yeah.
Oh, we'll be on site this year. It's our first time as Fox and Crow sponsoring a major event like that.
Oh, that's great. One piece of advice I would say for people attending, I think an issue with our industry is sometimes MSPs come in a little closed and guarded, especially around the vendor booths and expos. And while I know there's people that will scan your badge, and yes, they're going to potentially call you after, email or market, I would look at establishing a relationship and communications with the vendors. Don't look at them as adversaries. Treat them as individuals. The more you partner with vendors and establish those relationships, that's the way you should be approaching it, not being so closed off and guarded like they're trying to be used car salesmen, right?
Mm.
If they are, you can close them out and mark it down, but don't put that lens on everybody. The more you have real conversations with them, you'll figure out who the good vendors are to work with.
I think
Typically,
that
PAX8
really
does a great
benefited
job.
Ian.
1,000,000%.
After Ian became a vendor, everybody that he'd given a referral to or did a testimonial call for earlier in his MSP career, all of them
Yeah.
were willing to put us on stage. All of them were willing to give us time on webinars or let us create some content for them.
A
Creating
million
those
percent.
relationships early means that if there is going to be a chapter two in your world, lots of people go work for vendors. You want to keep your
Absolutely.
options open.
That's right. Well, not only that, but a lot of vendors, and this is another little nugget, right? A lot of vendors are bigger companies, much bigger than your MSP. And they know a lot. If you partner with them, you can learn a lot, right? And guess what? There's MDF dollars. They have huge marketing teams. They have huge sales teams. So when you establish that relationship with key vendors or partners, right? If you look at it as a partnership, there's a give and take there. And it's not just you taking from them. The more you partner and help them out, it'll come back tenfold.
Yeah.
That's been valuable my entire career. So,
Events are a great way to see what's out there, but you also get a little bit of face time with the people that day to day are helping you manage your business.
yes,
Plus, they'll probably buy
1,000,000%.
you a drink or dinner.
That never hurts,
Yeah.
right?
If people would like to find you at the PAX 8 event, say hello, or potentially pick your brain a little bit on what you're doing to grow your MSP, how can they
Mhm.
get in touch with you?
Absolutely. They can connect with me on LinkedIn if they'd like, right? Allan Jocson, ALLAN JOCSON. I'll be on the PAX8 app. You can connect with me through there or just tap me on the shoulder. I'll be out and around the sessions. And again, I'm there the whole week. I'll probably be there Saturday before the event, all the way to the next Saturday. So yeah, don't be
Oof,
shy. Reach out.
great.
Drink some water and I'll maybe do some hiking in between. Who knows? We'll see.
Michelle going to be joining you?
Michelle will be joining me. Yes. She may be
Excellent.
lounging at the pool, but she will be joining for most of the
Oh,
stuff.
thanks very much for joining us today, Alan. I will see you at PAX 8 Beyond.
I will see you there as well. Thank you.